hearing what you guys are building, so we can get an idea what this is and how we might be able to interact with you, or how we might be able to join, or how we can help each other. So maybe, I don't actually remember who I put first in the event, just checking now. I put Nico first. Nico, you wanna start sharing about what you're building, what your project is about, what you're intending to do?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, Stella. A little bit background about myself and my business and the other DAO that we're working on. So I'm an engineer by training. I have worked in those industries, and then I really had passion around fashion and beauty. So I started a business in the beauty tech and then a fashion tech startup, and then we were working with a lot of fashion retailers, and we saw how they're getting interested in the Web3 space. They requested like creating virtual stores for them and NFTs and so on. That's how we got into Web3. And the first kind of thing that I noticed was that, the quality of metaverse platforms like Sandbox and Decentraland was not to the par for, especially like the audience for fashion and beauty. They usually have their higher standards around aesthetics. And then also in terms of accessibility, if you want to have an immersive experience, some metaverse platforms were requiring to have headsets or strong GPUs. So we try to make everything more accessible by creating a metaverse that is aesthetically pleasing and is hyper realistic, but is still accessible via the browser without any hardware or software requirements. And also it's connected to an NFT marketplace that you can basically purchase the items inside the environment right there and then. For the audience that are not familiar with crypto or wallet or anything like that, we made it very simple. They just can pay with the credit card. We create the wallet for them, and everything is taken care of, especially for the fashion audience that may not be in the Web3 space yet. So that was kind of like what we have been working on, and we are working on a metaverse fashion show with some of the independent designers, and we have gone through a lot of ups and downs of optimizing those very complex, beautiful garments. So we learned so much along the way, and we have been having various conversations on Twitter. And sorry, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. So as we were, kind of throughout this process and, building relationships and educating the community, we got to meet a lot of amazing folks in the Twitter space, like Stella and Nicole, and, a lot of other amazing experts in this field. And, we also noticed everyone is trying to educate the community and collaborate and co-create with others, but everything was kind of in silos. Obviously, there has been some DAOs, but we've noticed that there are ways for improvement. There's so many lessons we can learn to do things better. So that's how the idea of the Fashion DAO came in. And the idea is basically a place where we can all come together, learn from each other, collaborate, co-create, and then also work on standards, guidelines to make everything more seamless for everyone. And then also be able to support indie designers and indie brand by grants and some sort of investment opportunities. So overall, imagine something like CFDA, but for the metaverse, and even more. That's kind of the idea of the Fashion DAO. It's very early in many ways, but myself and my partner, we are working on building the infrastructure. Because we have the tech background, we also already received a lot of interest for folks that want to support in many different directions. So we're just brainstorming also the direction of the DAO, what should we do first and all of that. So that's why I mentioned that to Stella, that I would love to have a lot of you guys to join, and we can all learn from each other. We can all brainstorm the direction. There's nothing set in stone, but we know our values. We want to have full transparency. We want to have full communication and learn from the mistakes of others. So that's kind of the goal. But thank you so much again for having me, and I'm happy to answer any question.
Would you mind, like, kind of, or actually, I can do that. I can share my screen and show the guys the videos that you uploaded. Just to get like a first visual impression, right? We're designers, we always go by first visual impressions, I feel. That's how we roll. Trying to find right now what you posted.
Yeah, right now I'm on my phone. If you can do it, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, it is here. It's like the video on Vimeo.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's the environment that we created for the Metaverse Fashion Show, and just an example of what's possible. Obviously, we are working on some other environments as well, and with different aesthetics for different types of applications. It really depends. Everything is possible to create. Everything can be hyper realistic and aesthetically pleasing, and most of our team are women and minorities. So the lens that we are coming from is very different, and everything is also created for diversity and accessibility. So that's how it differentiates us from others.
Mm-hmm.
This is so beautiful. Did you use like Unreal?
Yes, it's built in Unreal 5.
Wow, it's gorgeous. So like you could just go in from a browser?
Yes, exactly. So the accessibility I was mentioning is, yes, we started focusing on something that everyone has access to, and that's the browser. Any phone, iPad, computer. We know not everybody uses VR yet, and even those who have it, they can't use it for too long. So that's why we focused on this. But yeah, we can definitely add VR because it's built in Unreal. It's just so easy to implement.
Yeah, that looks so amazing. Wow. I definitely agree with you too. Like, if you look at other platforms, everything is like more like low poly, and like then we create these garments on Marvelous Design or Clo3D, and then you have to go through the process of making it more low poly, and that's a pain. So this is awesome.
Yeah, and specifically like the brand image, right? Even if you do go through the process, what about the image of your brand? Especially like a lot of luxury brands, they don't want to even showcase and deteriorate the brand image with those blocky things.
I love that. Yeah, looks great.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let me actually put the Fashion DAO link again in the general chat in case anyone wants to follow that. Otherwise, if you scroll up a little bit in introductions in the channel, you will find what Nico had posted before, like her own Twitter account. I know you're also holding some cool spaces, actually yesterday, and I totally couldn't go. I'm sorry.
No worries. We're doing another one with Clubhouse Archives tomorrow at 3 p.m. EST. So that would be more focused on education around digital fashion as well. So we're really talking about from different aspects. Yesterday was about Metaverse Fashion Show at Decentraland, how it's going to go, what are the ups and downs. And then, weekly on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. EST is what we have. And then sometimes Thursday or Friday, I co-host with others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really cool. Maybe you want to did you already create the event on Twitter? If yes, maybe you want to share that in the general chat as well, so people
can I will put that and then
subscribe to it.
Okay. Yes. Awesome. Just one more thing I want to mention is for whoever is interested about the Fashion DAO, there is a form on the fashiondao.xyz. So if you fill out that form, then you can also schedule a time with me, and we can, deep dive into any question you have, any concern, anything. And we are always listening. It's like I don't want to be the center of it at all. It's all about community. Making decisions. So I want to make sure like we're all on the same page. We're actually doing our community call starting April 4th. So if you're interested, if you want to be part of it, we are looking for amazing and strong, experts in this. And even if you are new into this space, we still want to have you and learn from each other.
That's great. That's really nice of you, Nico. I'm putting also the website into the general chat, so people will have an easier time to access and check it out. And I don't know if you guys can still, probably not, no? Can still see my screen in a bit. So this is the website. This is how it's supposed to look like. You can put here, apply to join, enter your email for updates, and follow their social media. Okay?
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Stella. You're amazing.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming and, giving like a personal introduction to this. I feel if you do this in person, always leaves like more of an impression as if you just read it on the web. So thank you for coming.
Yeah, definitely. We are all humans, even behind the avatars.
Exactly, even behind avatars. Agreed. Simon, where are you? Right here.
I'm here.
Hi, Simon. Welcome. If
Hi,
you want,
welcome everybody.
Take the stage.
Oh, thank you very much. It's great to meet you all today. Thanks to Gabriel who invited me. I really think it's a very nice opportunity to meet each other, and also for me to share a little bit more about the work we do at Maison DAO and what is basically our plan and the roadmap. I think that will be interesting. But I will start with my little intro. So my name is Simon. Originally, I come from Poland, but the last 5 years I spent in Berlin, Germany. And back in Poland, what I was doing, I was helping young fashion designers to launch their collections. So we're working sort of like not digital, but real fashion design for 5 years, launching collections, helping brands to like these young designers and young brands to have their own music events, trade shows. And all of that was basically promoted through digital marketing. So it was a startup. It was based on helping young designers to launch collections and actually sell them as well, right? So we were running a brick and mortar showroom in the center of Poznań, where I'm originally from. And from this base, we were running all the events and all the actions, partnership programs with clubs and restaurants. We had our own sort of best club in the alternative scene, right, as our main partner. So we're having events every week almost, but the bigger events every month for like 500 people and more. And that's what I was doing in Poland. And I always wanted to connect fashion to technology. Of course, yeah, I'm a marketing and professional, and in the same time, I'm also a designer. Yeah, I was having my own skate brand, creating skatewear, but it was really cut and sewn. Yeah, it was not prints on some hoodies, but all the hoodies, all the stuff that we were putting out there was actually cut and sewn in Poland. I was designing it from the scratch. So that was what I was doing. But I wanted to up my game, right? So I decided the best way to do it will be to actually work in German tech startups. So I was working in AI companies. I co-founded computer vision startup that was working with avatars and deepfakes, right? So from the other side of this technology. And then finally last year, after 2 years, I think, or 3 years of preparation, because in 2018 I was working in blockchain development agency, and we were actually launching Avatar NFT fighting game. It's just funny to say, but yeah, it was like Avatar fighting game. Realistic avatars were there and some robots. But yeah, the project was on EOS. That's why I'm not super happy about it. But it was happening for 4 years. And from this moment, I already knew that we are not ready yet for mass adoption of digital fashion, because like the avatar that we in 2018 that we were using were very cool quality, but to produce them you had to go to California, right? Be in a studio, 360 cameras around you, suit, and then you could copy the person, right? And right now we can do it with the phone, right? And that's what I was looking for. Easiness for retail people, for the end consumer to create an avatar and to be able to be dressed in it. And I found the right technology. I think so. Yeah, I found the right technology last year in January. Avatar solution that with mobile phone you can create the avatar and then put close 3D files on top of it. Yeah, and like the quality exactly as it is from Close 3D, right? And then we are working from this time to make those avatars available for Metaverse, and that's basically the one of the ways that I got into the project. But regarding my previous career that I told you about in Poland, I always wanted to create a space for collaborations for artists and digital fashion designers. Because for me, of course, I love fashion, I love digital fashion, but our world is art and fashion metaverse, right? So basically, Nico, very nice to hear you speak just before me about collaboration, co-creation, fashion. It's all on our agenda, all on our roadmap. So I'm super happy, that you're on this call today as well, because I think there are, many ways we could collaborate as well. So good to meet another person here.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Exactly, right. I think it's the more the merrier. That's my thing.
Yeah.
So we are creating art and fashion metaverse. Yeah, not only like directed to digital fashion, but sort of like art and fashion. So the other use cases that we are exploring are art galleries and music clubs, and we are now working on a prototype for a good immersive metaverse music experience and for immersive fashion show, right? So I think there are also some similarities here and things we can collaborate on. But yeah, in short about what we are actually doing as a project. We are launching Edge City. Edge City is this place for collaboration and showcasing collections. There will be, of course, integration with marketplaces, but we do it in a different way, sort of. So we imagine, that's our plan, that to our visual platform, other marketplaces can plug in, right? So other protocols, other marketplaces, other shops can actually do like the custom integration to our system. So we are not basically one marketplace, but at the end we will be 100 marketplaces, because the amount of virtual land in our city is 100. So there will be 100 hosts that will be showcasing the content. Yeah. But of course, that doesn't mean that the host is a person, because we are onboarding DAOs, not people itself. Yeah, like there is a way for members, for like individual designers to join. So of course I will mention this as well. But usually what we do right now is we onboard groups. Yeah, we onboard DAO. For example, we onboarded ArtSec DAO from London, right? Or a Venly Metering project, which is a partnership between 14 metaverses, right? So we believe in something like this. That's why when I was talking to Gabriel initially, I mentioned to him that what I see, for example, for this group is to create your own decentralized group and join as a sort of like decentralized entity. And that was my first proposition and first thing that I wanted to mention. But of course, it's always good to talk about it. Maybe you have any questions, anything you would like to ask about. I'm super happy to answer any questions. And the last thing I wanted to say is that, of course, Edge City is the place we are building that is connected to storytelling that will be formed by the hosts who have the land, right? So basically, of course, at the initial stages, we are putting some story forward and it will be soon revealed. But at the next stages, it will all depend on the community, how they see the progress of the city. So it will be a very, very interesting experiment in decentralized space, right? Because it will be sort of like a city that only the NFT owners will have like a biggest say on top of it, and then some users through governance through utility token of Edge City will be also able to decide about some stuff, right? But I mean, it is more about the DAOs that are in the space that will be creating the story. So that's something that I wanted to share, and it will happen through art collaborations, right? So through the fashion shows, music events, and then visuals to tell this story, what happened. So yeah, that's about us and the project. I'm super happy that I was able to tell you about this story today, and I'm looking forward.
Nice intro, thank you, Simon. And also, where the F is Gabriel? Like he invited you.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's
Gabriel,
what I wanted
if you're
to
watching this
well.
video,
like, where is Gabriel?
Where the F are you? Okay, I think he gets it. Would you like be able to share like the Twitter account, the like some visuals with us, something that we can see that's like a little bit more tangible? Do you have something like a sneak peek? Simon, you still there? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, but he's on mute.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I hear you. So basically, if you can help me the same as you helped Nico, I'm on my mobile and also like on the run between the meetings. So I was not prepared on the desktop. So if you could launch basically LinkedIn, because for now that's the thing we are running the most, where we are putting the pictures and some visuals, right? So basically, if you go to this, that will be helpful.
Okay, guide me again. What do I need to type in?
Maison DAO at LinkedIn.
Maison DAO LinkedIn.
Yeah.
This is it?
Wait a second. No, completely no. There is some. This is this tea company. I think there is tea company. This is the one. Yeah, the first one with the HCT logo. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's here.
Okay.
Thanks for a follow.
Sure.
So here initially, yeah, on the app there is like some first visual about the Artlands, yeah, that we are having, and then of course it's.
Let's see. Oh, I think this is it. Maybe. Is this it?
This is one of the collaborations. It's just a nice visual about the collab. But if you can go back and yeah, it's just the material, like visual material that we are putting out there, right? Like it may be also good, yeah, to see what kind of stuff we are producing.
Understood.
Yeah, but regarding the world,
Still nice.
It will be on the other post. No worries.
Okay.
Yeah, like see all post here. That will be the case. Yeah. We're going there and just go down. There will be some things. Okay, here's the visual. This is Artsect gallery, right? So this is like from inside the world, right?
Okay, can I?
So we are also striving. So we are also striving for better quality, but we are building on Unity. So that means that for now it's not that beautiful as Nico Farah Kingdom, and I really love what they did and what you did, Nico. So amazing work with that.
Yeah, it looks very pretty. I agree. Okay. Those are the meta rings, right? It's like to own a part of the world.
Oh yeah, this is the visuals, yeah, from some of the artists, and then Jessica James, right?
Yeah,
because
sure.
This is me. This is our new one. Yeah, this is some stuff from Jessica. But that you know already, right?
Yeah, of course.
Sure. Okay, this is in this video you can see a little more work from Amy, my main partner as well. She did a lot of stuff in both 3D and real marketing and real stuff, and then she's also doing real items. So it's really versatile team, right? Like you can see, it's very different stuff, but 3D. So that's what I wanted to say as well. For example, like this video, that we are not strictly digital fashion only, or like. It is one of the main topics, but we are definitely. This is also one of the galleries I built for Jessica, right? So this is the image, yeah. So this is the image. If you like, I can produce some videos, of course, and share on the next call or during the next meeting on post some links, so we can also see the video of it. But that's how the world look like, and that's what we are striving. Yeah, this is one of my artwork as a creative vision of the future.
Nice. Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, if you can, maybe I will. I mean, for sure, share this link. Let me go
Sure.
back to.
Sure, no, we are also running. We of course have Twitter and other stuff, but I mean here it was really like the stuff that I was putting there was exactly for show, right? I mean for the people to see. So that's exactly the case, and then I can produce some sneak peeks and some special materials for you as well, right? Oh, Edge City, this is the website.
You're running this on Polygon as well. Okay.
Yeah, because we have support from Polygon from like December. We had the partnership with Polygon Studios because we really want for it to be. This is the image from. Can you go down? This is like the image from this avatar solution we are using, right? Like this one, yeah. So this is like my avatar. It's me actually with the close 3D, close 3D files, yeah, that I created, right? So just for this, yeah, that's how it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we are using right now. But I wanted to say that the whole idea of our city is not to have one system for avatars, but to integrate as many systems as possible, so all the users can actually use them, right? So it will be some time. It will take us time, but we really want to integrate with many of them, right? So that's important for me. And the other stuff that I want to say regarding the tech, unfortunately, I don't have visual materials. I only learned about it yesterday. But I was talking to a really nice company from California, US, and they have this technology they are not doing. It's important for all of you, I think. They are not doing 3D objects on 3D objects and layers, but they are generating the whole avatar with fashion, which means for us, for all the designers here, it's the crucial groundbreaking perspective, because then you can, change the avatar, like change the head, change the chest, like change whatever. Everything is customable. And then all the 3D objects that are created are adjusted to it fully, right? So it's not only the tool for like dressing avatars, but it's actually in the same software without leaving. You can have environment, lighting, shadows, everything in one. So I'm really working on, for example, on this, and for this collaboration, we are also looking for some interesting digital artists to test it, right? Because for the next 3 months, we will have access to the platform. And on this platform, we will be able to create and input some materials to it, so we can create scenes. So yeah, that's the last element that I wanted to mention, because it just happened yesterday, and I'm super excited about it.
That's great. Thank you for sharing, Simon. And yeah, please feel free, whenever you have more, same counts obviously for Nico as well. Whenever there is like an update that seems important, just put it into the general chat here. It will definitely be seen and heard. And yeah, thank you guys for coming.
I actually have a question.
Huh. Yeah.
Yes, I'm wondering, Simon, is this a DAO or is it working towards becoming a DAO? Because your name says a DAO, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, sure, no worries. I think it's good that you're asking. Basically, maison in French means home, right? So the name is about, of course, we are creating our DAO, but our DAO is a DAO of DAOs, right? So in a way, yes. Yeah, like we are a DAO, but we'll be the DAO of different DAOs together, and they will vote over, governance and stuff like this.
So which aspect has been decentralized so far?
Exactly the plot, that's what I mentioned. Yeah, the stuff which is decentralized is the brand IP. That's decentralized for now. We started 3 months ago, and I have some team for it. And additionally, for the beginning of it, we invited 10 artists to be together with us, and all the decisions as for now are sort of in talking, like talking and doing all of it. So maybe to answer your question, if you really like to go on definitions, yeah, we are going to establish it on chain, but it's not established on chain right now.
Yeah, I feel this is this is the case for most of us. Like this project server you're in right now, it's also so we're progressing towards a DAO. We're running a lot of trials right now with different applications that are supposed to help us with this, like Coordinape and DWork, to decentralize tasks, to decentralize
Colony,
rewards.
for example, is also interesting.
Colony is also interesting. Felt like a little bit too much for the first step, but yeah.
For example, I think we will start on Colony because that's the contact I was exploring, and that's what we are doing right now. Mm-hmm. But regarding the voting and all the other stuff, because for Colony, it's pretty much only about deciding about the budget, right? It's about deciding treasury decisions. But for us, of course, we need more, and we need more decision making in terms of style, right? Like style, branding, beautiful things. It's not something that you can measure that's easy with tokens. Mm-hmm. And for this, we imagine that Lens protocol will be helpful. I don't know if you know about it. But Lens Protocol is a social platform, and they are building the solution for DAO and DAO voting and discussions as well. And that's the platform we will be building. So that's maybe a bigger, longer story because we could talk about it for hours. But for now it seems like we're gonna launch the DAO structure on Colony and then support it with Lens Protocol to have discussions and decision on chain. Because with Lens Protocol, everything is happening on chain. So all the voting will be all chain. Everything will be on chain. Every word from the discussion as well, because all will be a social platform. So that's an interesting point.
May I ask why don't you want to use Snapshot? Is there a specific reason why you're trying not to use that?
Basically it is like the common use solution, and it exists. But I'm not satisfied with it fully. I'm looking for something more. Okay. That's why.
Nico, on that note, do you want to explain the status of the Fashion DAO as of right now? Is it?
Yeah,
already?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Go.
Yes, so we are still very early and exploring, and the way we are looking at it is also there is no centralized tech associated with the Fashion DAO, so it makes it easier to decentralize it. But in terms of tools, I have my co-founder Philip who is going to explain.
Hi everyone. What we're looking at specifically is utilizing Aragon. The primary reason being that it's a tool set that's been specifically fashioned to governance, right? And it really follows and is built around our traditional governance system, which is having three separate branches: the executive, legislative, and judicial. And they build three specific tools for each one of those. So that's, for example, when you submit a proposal to the community would then have a chance, X amount of days, to then counter the proposal and then go through a judicial process where they would then submit evidence. And then later, the designated governors would then weigh the evidence and cast their vote whether they approve that or not. And whoever counters a proposal would then, of course, stake their tokens, so that they would have a skin in the game, and also have a bunch of other procedures. But in essence, that's kind of how it works. And I haven't come across any other tools besides that really does that well.
And we are taking everything very seriously. We're working with a lawyer who has experience in the fashion and has been supporting LVMH and so many other brands. And she's going to help writing the constitution. We are also bringing the community, whoever has already applied, and we screened. And if you guys are interested, you can participate. We will be writing the constitution together. We will be defining different levels of membership and different contributions and rewards. So there's a lot that we will be doing it, and we're trying to do everything as correct as possible because when it becomes autonomous, then it's very important how we define all the rules and guidelines in the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like at this stage, it really what it's come down to, it's more of not that we don't have the tools necessary. They exist and they're accessible. It's more about limited by our own imagination, about how we choose to govern ourselves. So whatever we think, however we choose, we can best organize ourselves. We can then implement that using a tool like Aragon or some basic modifications of a smart contract. So this is why I think it's the first important step, just like in the formation of any country or company or organization, is to really draft a well-rounded charter that really specifies what it means to be a member, what are the governing scopes. Basically, if you look at any constitution or charter, what are the sections? And we should kind of follow that, I think.
Yeah, and the other thing is we are learning from the mistakes of those who have done it before. So we are really trying to do everything better, just to make sure that we don't see any disappointment again. Anything from transparency to communication to every other aspect. We're just trying to do our best, and we will be also incentivizing all the contributors. So we will be doing it gated because we know if you have contributed in something, whether financially or time-wise, you're more incentivized to come back and contribute more. But we don't want it to be like Red DAO that you have to pay 50 ETH, which is not reasonable. We don't want to exclude people financially, but your contribution can work towards the gate amount price. And yeah, we are still brainstorming. A lot of things are still being formed as we speak. So if you all have any ideas, suggestions, just let us know, and we will try to make that work. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. This was very clarifying. Does the Fashion DAO, I think I asked Nico about this. I feel bad asking about it maybe again. But does the Fashion DAO have a Discord, or where do conversations as of right now happen?
So we haven't, we are in the process of creating a Discord, but we want to also make sure that, we go through the community and understand the different backgrounds and expertise and levels, and, starting with the guidelines and constitution. And then because it's easy, yes, you can open a Discord and, just kind of start the conversation, but we want to make sure that we are clear on the guidelines and standards and membership levels and everything else. So we are not rushing. We're taking the time to do it right. And in terms of conversations, so we have our weekly Twitter spaces. Whoever is kind of engaged with us is kind of tuning in. And then also very soon, we will, as I said, on April 4th is our first community call. We will have on Zoom, and it will be kind of like a private conversation with those who express interest and meet the requirements.
Okay, that was helpful. Thank you. Guys, anyone has questions for Nico or for Simon? Or for Philip, actually? No one? Okay, I have news from Gabriel. Gabriel said, sorry guys, my kid had an accident. Nothing too bad, catch up tomorrow. So at least now we know where he was.
Now we know, okay. I feel sorry for him then that he had some trouble, but good that it's all right.
Right? Yeah, I thought so too. Because it was weird. He was so excited about this, and then he wasn't here, so. Does anyone, Janet, you just came back in. Does anyone have questions? I think there is actually a lot of potential to ask. So, anyone?
Any comments, any feedback, any ideas? Doesn't have to be a question.
Well, I don't really have a question. It's just more exciting to hear you guys talking about your different ideas. Nico, I'm in your spaces whenever you're having them, whenever I see them, because I really like what you guys are doing. And like Stella said, we've all taken this step to say, we're trying to figure out how to do this as well and do it together. And I think the Fashion DAO and what you guys are doing has that great same potential in this space to kind of be that hub for fashionistas and that kind of stuff. And the Maison DAO, I think, is also a great entity where it's like you guys are just creating these places for people like us and these other creatives where we can come and collaborate and build. So I think that it's really powerful that we are having these meetings together, that you guys are part of the Realm Council that will be building, our own multi-layer museum in the Maison DAO maybe, and all active in the Fashion DAO, and just keep continuing to collaborate like this to help each other, coming together with our resources. And I'm just really excited. Again, I don't really have too many questions because I know we're all in the very, very early stages with how we're setting this stuff up. But Nico, even with how you mentioned with you guys building constitutions and the guidelines and, really getting into that nitty gritty with doing this step right now, correct? Very excited to have you a part and to be a part in learning together.
Sorry, my phone died, so I kind of lost the last 15 seconds. But thank you so much, Mo, for all of your support and love and participating in all of our conversations and Twitter spaces. We love to learn from you. As you saw the first session, we talked about the Fashion DAO. You were amazing, sharing about your DAO. So I'm so thankful for that. Really appreciate you. And, I didn't talk about much about how Queendom works and the business model around that. So quickly, if I can share, Queendom is a full metaverse platform that we are also working to make it decentralized. And we also have different sorts of land and buildings, where you can create a full environment. Again, it's all built in a very responsible way. So designed for accessibility, designed for inclusivity. Our team are women and non-binary individuals that are creating this with a very different lens. And our goal is to everyone feel included and be able to create the future of internet the way they want to experience it.
Thank you, Nico. That was good that you're chiming us in. Mo, I remember you saying something about bringing someone.
Yes, he's actually here, Tobo Fieser. Or I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but yes, he's here and a great resource. He's actually, it's funny, his bio says lawyer turned vegan, or Dejan. So it's like, that's how I like to introduce him. Like, yeah, he's a lawyer turned vegan and awesome with the resources. I kind of put in our own separate chat that we had a conversation yesterday, and it was really great because, again, he has these resources. And you guys know, again, that's what we're all about here, is trying to figure out how we're supposed to be doing this. And I know last week we talked with Where's the Data, and I thought he was going to be talking today too, and talking about, the resources that we should all be aware of when it comes to the law side. But what Turbo Fieser and what they're doing with the Force DAO is really awesome as well when it comes to how they're trying to help DAOs create their thing. So if you want to chat now, that would be great. I think you could do a better job explaining it than me.
Actually, okay,
no, for sure.
So, sorry, you're on like very soon. Okay, but I guess this is kind of a cut, right? So I don't want to like Nico and Simon. If you guys want to stay, you're more than welcome to. But if you want to leave, like nobody's going to be angry with you.
No, I'm learning. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share about our businesses.
Sure, you're welcome. And thank you guys for coming and sharing.
No worries. I think if that's possible, I will also stay for a second and
Sure.
just to follow up on the Mo monologue about today. Thank you very much. I really appreciate, and also I appreciate you sort of got this. Like the ideas that are flowing around and all the different DAOs. I think you're a very good person to to have your opinion, and so thank you very much for it. I really appreciate, and of course, I'm saying so. We'll probably say goodbyes later on.
Okay, sure. Feel free to. I just wanted to give you guys the option. Okay, Turbo Fieser,
Peace out.
you're on. Sorry.
Great. Yeah, and no, I can just do a brief introduction. I don't want to steal the stage or anything. I was just tuning in today, and I know that Mo had mentioned maybe a little more in-depth discussion next week if that was welcome. But no, I really loved hearing about all the projects that are going on. That is super cool. just to see all the movement in the space. But my name is Matt. I am an attorney from the U.S. Working on a platform called Forcefield, and basically we are focused on helping DAOs and helping DAO contributors manage legal risk and help figure out some of those legal entity structuring questions. Right now, a lot of the focus is fairly U.S. centric, but we've met with some international founders who are wanting a U.S. presence to help them get through that process, which opens up access to Stripe Atlas and certain banking institutions in the U.S., which can sometimes be helpful and also open up the market for other potential customers and users and contributors, et cetera. But that's kind of me in a nutshell and what we're working on. But I really just my main goal is to be a resource, with my background, what I've learned through a bit of practicing law, and hopefully help shape the space and act as a useful resource for people who are trying to maneuver and figure out what best practices are. Because I don't think we have those yet. We're still just trying to figure out the best ways of structuring and the best ways of doing things. So that's me in a nutshell.
That was a good nutshell. Thank you. Yeah, it is. Some of you guys don't actually have access to this channel because it's private on the server here. It's called the Council Chat, and we've been talking a lot about, all the regulations that are coming on recently. It feels like whatever you're probably gonna do, even if it's like an LLC, it feels like it could potentially become a minefield of some sort. As soon as you launch a token or connect any kind of other value to the DAO, and then this becomes a shared good, and then probably it's like there's no real law yet made for DAOs specifically, is it?
No, you're absolutely right, and it also is, it's always helpful to remember that a lot of the U.S. controversies and stuff kind of can tend to take the stage or hog the stage. But and I'm a U.S. attorney, right? So that's what I'm most well versed in. But if you are domiciled outside of the U.S. and you're releasing a token, if you don't sell to U.S. citizens or U.S. investors, you're not within the jurisdiction of the SEC. And to a certain extent, that takes a big burden off of you. You need to worry about your home jurisdiction. But you're certainly right that there isn't a concrete guidance in terms of what's happening. There are a few states in the U.S. that are kind of trying to pave the way. Wyoming has tried to be a leader in this in regards to the Wyoming DAO LLC, which is we could totally go down the rabbit hole with that in terms of the pros and cons of using an LLC. But again, that is very U.S. centric, and it might make sense for some projects. It might not. It just really depends on what the goals are, who the contributors are, where are the founders of the DAO located. All these kind of questions you need to ask and analyze to determine whether, number one, what jurisdiction makes most sense, and then how do we approach structuring this so we can limit your own liability, right, to make sure it's safe for you, and then figure out what's optimal for taxes and things like that.
Yeah, it's really tricky. I've been doing a lot of reading on this, and same as Mo, same as a lot of us. I feel like we've become more interested in solving that issue and solving. I had last week I had a meeting with a friend of mine who was like, well, he really understands tokenomics, in contrary to myself. I'm literally a beginner at a beginner's level, and it's a fucking minefield. Like there is so much that can go wrong, and then even starting to bring it in contact with the DAO, it's a real burden. We want to do this, we want to do it right. I don't want to end up like being an ApeCoin. I mean, ApeCoin is probably, it's always going to climb, right? It's going to climb. But the token launch itself was absolutely horrible. Like it started at $20 and then it crashed down to $5 or $6 because one person just bought it all because, well, I think he just didn't know better, to be honest. So, you know, you want to avoid those kind of situations, right? And then bringing all of this together with the law that is not essentially made for this yet, it feels highly tricky, but I guess we need to start somewhere. And the LLC stuff felt like
Yes,
the most reasonable
Stella,
option, right?
and that was one thing that I really enjoyed about our conversation yesterday that I had with Matt. Because one thing that people kind of also overlook when it comes to a DAO is because he made a good point. Like when you're operating as a DAO, it's known as a general partnership, which means everybody's liable for everybody,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So if say we all just came from DigitalX, right? They have coins, they have marketplaces, they have a lot going on in general. So say they go down, everybody a part of that DAO that's participating in that's using those smart contracts, even us that we're about to have our marketplaces and pushing the tokens. And, that's why even, the founder would be very specific with kind of walking us through like how to say things and how to word things so that we wouldn't get all of us in a pickle. So I thought it was a very interesting perspective to say, even if you're not considering putting the DAO as an LLC, it's an interesting perspective to say individual members have their own LLC that they operate as within a DAO, so that at least separates like, okay, you have your business that is working with this decentralized autonomous organization, so that if things go south, that they're going after your LLC and not coming after your house and your cars and everything like that. So I thought that was a really interesting perspective that we have to kind of look at as well. When, like he said, look at the contributors, look at all the pieces and how they'll be affected by everyone and everything, and how you can kind of protect yourself, most importantly, because they don't care about ignorance. Ignorance does not get you out of trouble when it comes to the law. You'll still get a fine, you'll still go to jail, and they'll tell you should have just done your own due diligence more before you kind of embarked on that. So definitely exciting to have Matt here and sharing his resources.
Yeah, I really wonder if there's any kind of precedence to this, even just outside of DAOs and regular organizations. So, because we can imagine a system where we do everything completely extrajudicial, so that even the enforcement becomes through the chain. Let's say you have a DAO and that you have external NFTs that are tied to the decisions of the DAO. So that, for example, if the DAO issues a regulatory token for NFTs, then it could enforce whether the token holders are compliant and transfer, ownership to other individuals or organizations who are not compliant, right? So then, government has no, specific say. But then, the individual, maybe decision makers could be perhaps individually liable in whatever jurisdiction they belong to. So I just wonder, like, let's say there's a group of people that form a club or an organization of some sort here in the US, maybe, is without necessarily forming an LLC or a company or something. Is there any precedence in terms of, let's say one member, does something, that's not correct or illegal, are other members accountable to that, right? I wonder if that exists.
Yeah, that's like a cool question to pose in terms of what's being done. There certainly are some really neat projects in the space that are working towards dispute resolution in the Web3 space. One's called Jur, Jur. The other is called Claros, if you guys are familiar. And there's a whole movement of this idea of kind of code deference, and I don't want to bore you guys, but it's called code deference, and it's this idea that we agree that kind of code is law, and we follow what the code says in this smart agreement or the smart contract that's amongst participants. As far as like what's happening within a DAO, kind of adding on to what Mo was saying, because it's a similar line of thought. What we're kind of exploring with Force Field is this idea of, in some regards, forming a legal entity to wrap your entire DAO. Some people believe that takes the magic out of it, right? A DAO is supposed to be this cool amorphous entity-less structure, and to a certain extent, I get it. I get the argument. If you're a DAO purist or minimalist, I totally get it. But that is the cool thing about DAOs, is that participating within your own individual LLC, and the fact that LLCs can easily be molded and kind of melded to those use cases, like what you just described in regards to, we can agree by contract that this is how things happen if we have a disagreement. Operating within your own LLC gives you that freedom to contract with the parties of the DAO, but it also protects you too, right? And it gives you a kind of a belt and suspenders approach to limiting your own liability in case something goes wrong, both internally but also externally, right? If you're a service DAO and you provide a service to some third party, it provides that extra layer of protection just to make sure that your assets are safe. And then if you're in the US, there's also kind of some tax strategies and optimizations that they can provide as well.
That's actually kind of a really interesting point. So let me just kind of make sure I understand what you're saying. So you're saying that individual members of a DAO, it may be perhaps in their best interest to set themselves up as an LLC, and then the LLC will interact with the DAO. Is that kind of what you're suggesting? Or maybe alluding to? Okay. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
And it's kind of interesting that, I'm from Brazil originally, and in Brazil, it's actually a very common practice, and the general public is very familiar of doing this, that when you go to be employed, most high salary or high tech employees, they actually form the Brazilian equivalent of an LLC to be employed by the company. It's like 50%. It's a very common thing to know. And I kind of already start seeing that scene in California with their recent passage of, AB5, where it makes it difficult for freelancers to, interact with their clients in a limited liability way, right? So then they form this. So I think maybe this practice is starting to becoming more common in the US, but I still think it's a little foreign for most Americans to kind of think like, oh, if I want to be employed by you, if I want to do this organization, I then have to form an LLC. Well, what's an LLC? How do I do that, right? I think maybe that there's still kind of a little barrier, I think, in the US. What do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's fascinating to hear about Brazil. That makes me want to do some due diligence on some of those practices. That's really cool to hear. But no, yeah, you're absolutely right. And honestly, that's what we're exploring with Forcefield is we're obviously trying to create a business, spin up a business out of it. How can we create a valuable platform that people use and that makes sense? And you're right, outside of California, it's not intuitive that, if I participate in this DAO, I'm opening myself up to this liability, which is what happens, right? And of course, the chances of things going wrong are not high, right? We don't have stories of things happening yet, but it's really just kind of the security that it could bring, and conveying that security and that showing what could happen and how you can protect yourself from it is going to be interesting to see how that resonates with people. Hopefully we can preserve some of the magic of the DAO structure while also helping people protect themselves and also save some money in the short term as well.
Yeah, agreed. It's actually it is a thing, the magic of the DAO. I think it's really nice how you're putting this, because it's definitely something that has attracted a lot of people to this. And there are big DAOs, right? But most people who are even part of those DAOs have not questioned how they are run behind the scenes. Like, for example, I think since like a year ago, Bancor is a DAO, like roughly a year ago, not even. And there's so much stuff behind the scenes that, most members, most users, right, especially just end users, not people even who are like part of the community, people who just use Bancor as a decentralized exchange and not necessarily as a DeFi platform, they have no idea. They also kind of don't care, but just because you don't care means that you won't be eventually liable for what has been done. I mean, the thing is that Bancor itself, they work very closely with the regulators. It has been seen as taking the magic out of it. It has been criticized as exactly that. But, well, they have been doing a really great job still, So I guess, especially because none of this is like absolutely entirely clear as of now, I guess we have to compromise somewhere. I actually have a very specific question. That is, I live in Peru. I am from Germany. So how would I even get to found an LLC? Can I do that? Will they put me in jail just because I'm trying to do that?
No,
You're
you can
laughing.
totally,
I'm fucking scared.
no, don't be scared. No, you can. It's actually really interesting, though. You know, no, you can totally form an LLC. You don't have to be domiciled or live in the United States, and really, you don't even need. You need no tangible connection to the United States or an address, and you can form an LLC within the U.S. and you know, with someone who is based outside of the United States. It's generally a question of, okay, why do I want to do it? Why do I want to even open an LLC? Why would I want to? It could be, and the most common reasons are access to some of the banking institutions for business reasons. And the other reason is trying to sell or open yourself up to U.S. residents, right? The U.S. based entity helps you do that. But as far as the process of doing it, no, it's totally possible. You know, there's some documentation in terms of where you're domiciled that's required, but it's totally legal and definitely within the realm of possibility if you're ever interested in doing it. And we can totally, if that's something that, you know, we can talk about it offline, or if other people are interested in that too, that aren't based in the U.S., we can do a deep dive in on it at some point if it's helpful.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
'cause everyone's from all over. I think that would be a really cool conversation to kind of explore that, especially since, like you said, you know, when you take that step and you're selling your stuff all over anyways, you know, it's important to at least understand how you can protect yourself if that's necessary, how that's possible for wherever you are, and you know, just to explore these different ways that at least for anyone, anywhere, be really cool.
Yeah, so for example, here in Peru, we can, like, you know, I don't have anything to hide about this, so maybe it's useful I think everyone here in the chat right now, I think you're all from the US, so probably for you guys doesn't make too much sense, but I know some people from the community, from the Realms Council who are not, so maybe to those it might make sense to talk about this. But so I'm a German citizen, right? I do live in Peru. I do live in Peru on a dependency visa, meaning I wouldn't be allowed to form, you know, a company or an entity here. And when it comes to my tax-paying situation, like my company that I have is on break in Germany, so it's we call it it's in Ruhestand. So it's been actually quite complicated to wrap my head around this, right? And then when I heard about this idea to form the LLC in the United States and that it might be possible not even to be in the need to live there, and I was like, okay, that could be a solution. But maybe this is actually, maybe it's too specific and I should just, you know, we should just get on another call. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this like worth hearing an answer for here? Or is this like too specific? I don't know.
Or maybe even, I know he said he'd be prepared next week, because I know a lot of, like you said, the other Realm Council members, because it's funny, I think a lot of them are not here today, but I think a lot of the other ones that are in different places like Paris and Germany and just, you know, they might have questions in different situations too, you know, like Lauren, she's from California and now in Paris, and you know,
Exactly.
I think that would be kind of cool to put it out there so people can kind of come with maybe their questions as well, and we can deep dive into these different situations and, you know, how
Sounds
we
like a
could
plan.
set it
Right.
up for people or however the case may be.
Just so you're prepared, Turbo Feezer, it's gonna be tricky with us. We're tricky people.
I love it. No, this is really fun, and thank you, Mo, for inviting me and putting it on my radar too. But no, all that sounds wonderful. I can, I'll do my homework. I'll be prepared, and whenever you guys want to put it on the schedule or next week or what have you, we can wrap about some of the international flavor, and then some of the U.S. based and U.S. centric folks too. We can cover both bases.
Okay, yeah, that sounds really good.
And he also does one-on-one consultations. So if you guys, you know, want to just meet more specific, You do have to download Teams. Put the disclaimer out. Don't try to go 5 minutes or right on time, because you need to download Teams and set it up. It's not on Zoom or Discord, but it is really great. And you'll get a lot of information, can ask questions. Matt's pretty awesome.
Mo's calling me out on Teams. Mo's calling me out.
Yeah, I had to let them know, like, hey, don't come thinking you're going to just click the link. You got to re-download Teams if you haven't used it in a while. So.
Why are you using Teams? What the hell? I thought you were a DJ.
I know. I'm getting tore up. I'm gonna have to. I told Mo, like, I need to. We're gonna start using Hangouts or something, because everyone makes fun of us. But it's because I love. I'll be honest with you. I love Outlook. I love doing my mail in Outlook, Office 365. But okay. I'm a psycho.
Hey Matt, can you share your Twitter account or some sort of LinkedIn or any other channel that we can follow you?
Yeah, for sure. What's the best way to do it? My Twitter handle is TurboFeezer. It's my same handle here.
I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you.
You'll find me.
TurboFeezer.
Let's see.
Oh, Matt. You're really called Matt. You're a real person. This is it, isn't it?
I am real. That's really me.
Right, I'm putting it in the general chat. Here it is. This is your Twitter, if I'm not entirely mistaken. And then you're also on LinkedIn. You're on LinkedIn, you said?
I am, and I can send that out too, if it's helpful.
Yeah, you can put it in the general chat as well, if you will.
Okay, cool. There's my LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I think I might get back to you for the one-on-one consultation. I think my case is very specific, and I don't want to mess this up. So.
Sure. I'd love to chat. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I already sent you a friend request here on Discord. Your first task: find it.
Awesome.
Messing with you. Okay.
Hey, Matt, I just kind of have one quick question. I don't know if you have a little bit of time. I'm just wondering, do you happen to know of any precedents or previous cases of kind of what I mentioned before of, let's say you have an organization, a club, but, it's just a group of people that have just informally formed, let's say, a contract. Have you ever seen any cases where the malfeasance of one member is, another person is held liable for the malfeasance of another member in the club? Has that precedence been set? Do you know of?
Yeah. It's a great question. It's also for legal nerds. It's an interesting question too. So what you just described, and really what Mo mentioned earlier, is a general partnership. So let's say all of us on the call, we don't form a legal entity, but we just we write up an agreement that say all of us are on the same team, and we're going to sell. We're gonna make an NFT and we're gonna sell it. But we all will share in the profits, right? We're just gonna split it up. It's a big multi-sig wallet, and we're gonna share in the profits. Right then, whenever we decided to do that and not form a legal entity, at least under U.S. law, by default, we've created a general partnership. U.S. law recognizes by default we have a general partnership amongst all of us. And what that means is one action from one of the partners, it could be me, it could be Mo, it could be anybody, liability is imputed to everyone else for any one action from one of the partners in furtherance of the partnership, or arguably in furtherance of the partnership. And so that is well settled law in terms of general partnership and how that's structured. And that's kind of what gave rise to what we see in the US as a modern corporation, and then later on the limited liability company was an attempt at putting an end towards that liability and making it so our personal assets couldn't be up for grabs in that scenario of a general partnership.
I see. I understand. Really interesting. So I guess what you're saying that now it makes sense why the personal LLC would work, because then if you interact, through this general partnership as your own LLC, then even if your own LLC is held liable as part of the general partnership, you are personally not liable through your LLC, right? Is that kind of my understanding?
That's exactly it. And you're liable for what has been contributed in the context of the LLC. So the money that you put into your LLC and contributed to a DAO, that's what you're going to be on the hook for, not your house or your car or things like that. Exactly.
Then okay, then I think then it kind of makes sense then. Maybe for any DAO that comes forward, regular members would, perhaps ones that don't have a role in in causing issues, they could just be part as actually no, because let's say then if you do join a DAO, and then the governors of the DAO, maybe let's say that they have their own LLCs, right? So they're personally liable. But then anybody else that comes in and let's say they're not a governor, they don't have any decision bearing power, right? Let's say they can only maybe vote on proposals that come through the governors, either yay or nay. Then I guess in that case, would then
they're still liable.
Would they still be liable as part of the general partnership? Is there precedence maybe for exceptions to the general partnerships for partners that don't have decision-making power?
But everyone has just the different weight. And when the weight is different, doesn't matter. You're still liable. Right, Matt?
Yeah. Is there any precedence for any exceptions for that, right?
Yeah, so it's an interesting question, and it really, as far as the decision-making power, and as with anything in law, I'm sure if you guys have interacted with an attorney, you'll hear the usual "it depends."
Yeah.
But the big factor obviously is it depends. And realistically speaking, and obviously none of this is legal advice, but realistically speaking, if you're a part of a DAO, if you're not a main decision maker, and let's say you're not even voting on things, you're just kind of floating in and out. You're a lurker. Like I love to lurk. I'm a big lurker.
Right.
Are you going to be imputed as a partnership or part of the partnership of the DAO? Probably not, right? If you are voting, if you have governance roles, or if you're a steward of some sort and you actually have an active role in what's going on with the DAO, then the analysis may change. But it's a sliding scale, and that liability, there's no clear-cut answer. Only until it goes to court and a judge is analyzing this, who probably doesn't understand what a DAO is, and then is looking at how much activity you have, then will we get more clarity? And so really my position is let's try and nip it in the bud now in terms of limiting that liability. Let's make it easier to rest at night just knowing that, okay, my exposure is limited here, whether you're a major contributor or just more of a minor one.
Yeah, interesting. So I guess I do completely agree with you that as a general good practice, yes, it's probably best that every member does form an LLC just for practicality. But I don't know, maybe it is because I don't know if this might even be a good way to go forward to kind of be a trailblazer, right? But if there is really no precedence for this, maybe this might be a good case to kind of bring forward, right? Find like a plaintiff that will suffer by this, and maybe find I don't know, maybe a district where a case could be heard, and say that, try to maybe push the idea of, okay, if there is a general partnership, then maybe the court should set a precedent for individuals that don't have decision-making power, right? Maybe in the future that might be a good case to go forward. I don't know.
Certainly, and it's really interesting to think about in terms of some of the activism that could go forth in it. Because I think if we're in this call now, we're bullish on the space, and we believe that this is like the native structure moving forward in Web3 in the future. And so, addressing these concerns and figuring out how those disagreements are going to be handled in the future, I think is critical, right? It's important.
But do you think, Matt, that this actually, what might be the best approach to this? Do you think that it may be better to try to bring a case forward and have it, wind its way through the court and have a judge, maybe set some precedents, maybe even reach the Supreme Court or something? Who knows, right? Or maybe do you think it might be better to try the lobbying route, where we try to lobby a law in place that does set this, limit to general partnership? Is that even a federal thing, or is it a state thing, general partnership laws?
That's a fun question too, in terms of the judicial versus the lobbying and some of the legislative. My personal opinion on that is that we need more regulatory guidance. We need more clarity from regulators, because right now what we're doing is retrofitting existing laws, existing structures to a new, cool, exciting, sexy thing that is Web3, right? We're applying existing structures to it, and I think that's what's so cool about Wyoming. And to the point of an international founder or a DAO creator, Wyoming and Delaware really are the two big popular spots to form that LLC for numerous reasons, privacy being one of them. But I think that the answer, while an activist or a firm that specifically goes through the judiciary to get things done might disagree with me, I think the biggest thing that Web3 could benefit from is more regulatory guidance and clarity. That's why the executive order from Biden. I mean, I felt pretty good about it, honestly. I thought it was overall good. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent. What was the second question? You asked me a second question. What did you ask?
Just the whether the laws surrounding general partnership, is that a state's issue? Is that a federal issue?
Oh, that's common law. That is that's rooted in case law, and that's going to be a state can adjust those kind of common law base laws around general partnership, but that's just kind of well settled case law that all states are going to recognize.
Okay, makes sense. So I guess maybe if we were to try to have any kind of exception, let's say we were to try to lobby it, then would we have to then lobby each individual state instead of, or will we then have to lobby maybe a different type of change? Maybe would it be like an IRS statute that we then would need to maybe when it comes to filing your taxes, there could be exceptions for non-voting general partnerships, right? For liability.
Yeah, I mean, really, the two biggest issues with a DAO and also for contributors to a DAO are centered on taxes and also centered on liability. As far as organizing some sort of lobbying movement or some way of managing it, it's really kind of picking which one you want to start with first, right? The SEC, the IRS, all the ABC organizations in the United States are hopefully going to be spurred into providing some more clarity and guidance with that regard. But we've been hoping for that for a while. But as far as like the best route to take, I think an example is what Wyoming has done. I mean, they have been proactive about recognizing DAOs legally in the state. And although the legislation itself, substantively, when you dig into it, what are they doing? Could we achieve the same thing with a Delaware LLC with some changes to the operating agreement? Absolutely. Like, it's not that innovative. It's innovative and promising, in my opinion, that the fact that their legislature actually is willing and recognizing DAOs as a separate legal entity and an entity in and of itself. Which is what I think the pathway forward is. More of that, more discussions around actually recognizing these entities in the law, in the letter of the law. That's what's exciting, and I think that's the path that makes most sense.
Thank you so much, Matt. We learned so much, and I hope everyone also learned. Thank you, Stella, for this time for us to nerd into this.
Yeah, sorry for taking a little longer. Sometimes I can get a little ahead of myself.
He gets excited to see an expert in this, but thank you so much.
Yes, you guys can join whenever you'd like. Matt, on that note, something I think that actually either Nico or Philip said before, and I think it was also mentioned by Mo, but I'm not sure right now, is something I had seen with the ENS people on Snapshot. I think the first vote that they ever put up was like the code of conduct, right? Like what is actually expected of you as being part of this DAO. And I thought this was, I realized this is not like, probably not, maybe not even a recognized safeguard, but I thought in terms of being also aware of what you agree to, that could be a very interesting step to take. But then maybe we could go one step further, right? We are here right now exploring on having our own smart contracts as the projects that we represent. And I was thinking, sounds maybe a little bit weird, but you could put out, like, let's say, a certain amount of those contracts, mint them, like actually, mint the contract as an NFT, or the code of conduct, right? Mint it as an NFT, and actually, like as an act of initiation, have those people who really want to be part of this DAO and agree on how this DAO is run and how the code of conduct is laid out, have them mint it. Like this, it would be actually officially on chain, and like this, they would signify agreement to it, right? I mean, we're still not there that there's so much law about this, so we might as well try our own ways, right? Sorry, done.
No, yeah, I totally agree, and I think part of some of the I don't know, thoughts and ideas that are swirling around with what we're trying to build with Force Field was like, how cool would it be if we really start to store some of these things on chain. With an LLC, you get an operating agreement, which is exactly what you just described. It's just like a charter. It's just like the founding articles of these initial articles that set out what the rules are for the new organization. And for an LLC, obviously, it's just for your single member entity. But for a DAO, it's going to encompass the DAO. But putting those on chain to signify your acceptance, right, and your acknowledgement that you're a part of it, putting that on chain is certainly a cool idea and something that I think we're going to start seeing more of that kind of digital on-chain recognition and acceptance of an agreement or a smart contract and being able to exhibit it on chain. I think we're going to see more legal recognition of that in states, and I think it just makes sense.
Yeah, it could be just an additional safeguard is what I was thinking, right? And also, like I said, I think it's kind of neglected, right? Even this ApeCoin thing that I mentioned before. I think this member actually who bought like ApeCoin for 960 ETH, which is pure insanity, right? But he did that because he wasn't aware that he would even cause a price impact. He wasn't aware of that because, well, he was collecting NFTs. What does he understand about a token and tokenomics and how that would affect the price of the token? He thought he would be probably doing something cool, like investing a bunch of his money because he felt so bullish about the ApeCoin, right? And I think even if it was intentional, say it was intentional, right? It's like there's just a lot of people who are not aware, and we need to definitely start changing that. Because if people are not aware what they are actually agreeing to, and I would hope, if they're minting it as an NFT, like they better make sure what it is about, because it also costs them a little bit of money. Would you, Matt, would you mind sharing your, you said Force Field, right? I started following you on Twitter, but I actually have no idea what Force Field? Is it Force Field?
Yeah.
You want to explain about that?
Yeah, for sure. I'll put a link to it as well. So, so Force Field is my company that I founded with a buddy. And long story short, distilled super quick, I used to do private practice. I was an attorney, practiced in the Midwest. Opportunity cropped up to move to California to work on a legal technology startup as part of it's called a startup studio. And we initially started 9 months ago. We did not start in Web3. Now we are in Web3, which all roads are leading to Web3, which is a beautiful thing. And I've just always been kind of a nerd on Web3 stuff. It's always been in my periphery. But the organization we've started has just naturally progressed to Web3. And so we're kind of a Web 2.5 company, right? We have an initial pre-seed investor, the Force Field as an entity. And so we're exploring now ways of becoming more Web3 native because we're obviously the most centralized organization structure that you can get, right? The hierarchical Delaware C Corp. But we're kind of exploring ways to be a little bit more Web3 native and things that we can do to decentralize ourselves. But that's what Force Field is. It's my company that I'm doing with a co-founder that's part of a startup studio in California.
Awesome, yeah. Just checked out the website and joined your Telegram group. I'll be in touch.
I love it. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Awesome, guys. Any more questions from anyone? Or should we conclude this week's Realms Council call?
I have to run, but very nice meeting you all. Matt, thank you so much for all the information. Mo, Stella, everyone, thank you so much for your love and support, and hope to see you around. Thank you.
Same, Nico. Thank you for coming.
See ya.
Yeah, thank you all very much. Bye bye.
Bye bye, Simon.
Yeah, great
Thank
meeting
you.
you.